Prime Minister Narendra Modi just hosted the first India Central Asia Summit. These countries can offer a lot to India, not in terms of, the points that have already been made, but the fact that they are rich in minerals, they're rich in resources, which the Western world hasn't really bothered about. India can fill that lacuna.
There is no doubt these Central Asian republics are endowed with the natural and mineral resources, especially hydrocarbons and uranium. And even a back of hand estimate would tell you that potentially it is half of world's energy which is available for exports, which will go to India and China. Now, China definitely is several steps ahead of India, but potentially India would have to look at these countries, and these countries in turn would look at India as a market for their energy resources. Immediately, of course, that they are focused on bringing stability and humanitarian relief to Afghanistan. Just like we have several Afghans now in India, there are thousands and thousands of Afghans now who have moved to these countries. Three of them share borders with Afghanistan. So instability in Afghanistan is as much their concern as much is India's in that sense. So there are immediate drivers to have this summit meeting and push it forward in terms of NSA's dialogue, foreign ministers' dialogue, and long-term interest that India has. I think the point about China is slightly misplaced. I agree with the Ambassador Sajjan Ha. We should not be looking over the shoulder as to what others are doing. India is, in that sense, very differently placed. Very, very incremental, piecemeal, but we have a whole dozen plus sectors in which India has built some kind of partnership with these countries. They could move from education to pharmaceuticals to information technology, cyber technology. So many sectors India has, and hydrocarbons, uranium, where India is engaged. Now, if you start comparing it to China, which has $136 billion of investments, $40 billion of trade, they are trying to take it to $70 billion in next 5 years. That is a misplaced comparison. I think that is a kind of not comparison we should be looking at and trying to compete with Chinese. Our trade, I heard the president of Kazakhstan saying had touched 3 billion. Our estimates were showing it less than 2 billion. 1.9 billion is with Kazakhstan itself. So in that sense, India has a very different kind of advantages and disadvantages, and we have to look at what are our advantages. India definitely is an alternative they want to all explore because they don't want to be over-dependent on China. None of the countries would like to be over-dependent on China, and security connect with Russia is also almost exclusive. So, between Russia and China, they would look at a large-sized country, a huge market like India, and they have their own interest in engaging us. So does India have interest in engaging because we want to be part and parcel and contribute to stability and humanitarian relief in Afghanistan, which is in our national interest. So there are drivers on both sides which are bringing them closer. And last 30 seconds, let me say, the summit meeting that Xi Jinping had apparently looks like hurriedly organized event because otherwise these leaders would be traveling to India. It's just day before yesterday that the meeting happened. So because it was hurriedly organized, it tells two things. One, the outcome was not sort of really very interesting. As Ambassador said, it's an underwhelmed kind of joint statement that we have seen. And perhaps a little concern. I wouldn't say China is paranoid about India engaging Central Asia. I don't think they worry much about it. But definitely China is conscious and maybe even concerned. And that is why this quickly sort of putting up an event together and having a summit just before India has this summit meeting, which otherwise would not happen because these leaders would have been busy traveling to India in that case because of attending a Republic Day ceremony. So definitely this was not a plan which had happened long before China thought of doing a multilateral summit meeting of this nature. This was kind of, hurriedly brought in because they knew that the leaders are not traveling anymore. And last very quick 5 seconds, I think Russia also lately has shown greater footprint. Both in Belarus and Kazakhstan, you notice the footprint and CSTO summit meeting that Putin had is showcasing to the Chinese that Russia is reclaiming the territory and therefore they have to really up their game as well. And I think that explains what Chinese did. But, we have a very strange and independent, very, very special and independent relationship with these 5 republics. And we need to focus on those areas. And I'm sure we are focusing on those areas.
Right. Absolutely.